Smile is our holiday activity club for families in need in our local area. We started it a few years ago, basically in response to knowing that there were families in our community who were struggling with the extra costs of feeding their children over the holidays and struggling with places to go. And so we just started Smile Up as a place for once a week that families could come in and to be able to see or to have a space to be able to play around, have some nice craft activities and let off some steam, and to be able to have some food. So all the families eat together, they play together, they eat together, and all the team eat with them, and we just chat and engage with them, and getting to know families in the local area. We're currently supporting about 20 families, and we've got a great team of volunteers. There's a team of about 14 or 15 volunteers that are involved in it as well. So obviously when lockdown came along, we had to sort of change a bit how we did that, because we couldn't have 65 people or sort of in one space at any one time with children running around and life being as it was. So we decided to start Smile at Home. So during the week we have been changing what we do here to be able to provide hot meals for families or people in need in our local community, Monday to Thursday, through our hot food hub that we started in response to the lockdown. And so on Fridays, 5 of the Fridays over the summer, we then did Smile at Home. So we did then, rather than just a hot main course lunch, it's a main course and pudding and cakes and other treats with it, and a great activity bag for the children, and everybody in the family sort of gets fed. And we have then a team of people who go out and deliver and just sort of have a socially distanced chat on the doorstep, see how people are. And we keep up to date or keep in touch with people in between those times as well, just as sort of messages and a few other things. So we've done 5 of those over the summer. Again, with these 20 families. So we're normally producing about 65 meals are going out each time we do that, with some great activity bags. And we've probably sent out over 350 meals or something like that into families on the Friday. So it's great to be able to do it, and the families have really appreciated it. Wasn't quite sure how it would go down because obviously they weren't getting to engage with other people. But they've said it really does put a smile on their face. The kids really look forward to it, and they enjoy the food. The parents enjoy the time they don't have to do the cooking, and just to be able to just be a blessing in the community, just to help people to feel that they're not forgotten, left alone, that people care. And the feedback that we're getting is just so positive. It's really nice, and so we're just looking at how to develop and grow that over the term ahead, which hopefully family life will get a little bit more back to normal as children are heading off to school, hopefully, and that we don't go back into some other lockdown. But we're ready to respond if it does happen, to try and make sure that people don't fall through the net. So I'm the community manager here. So I have the joy of being able to start up, encourage and equip and work with other churches, work with all our volunteers, see who in the church is interested in doing what God's put on their hearts, trying to help people to find the right place that they fit, but also obviously us wanting to be a church making a difference in its local community. We've got a very disadvantaged community around us with a lot of needs, a lot of challenges, but we've got some amazing churches as well who are doing some amazing things, and it's just great to be part of it. And we've got a part to play. We've all got unique bits, but we do support each other well. There's some really good relationships, so that's great. This last sort of three or 4 months in lockdown, we've had this very strange time of everything contracting. So all of our normal activities contracted, and we sort of stepped forward to do the hot food hub, which was providing hot lunchtime meals to people in need via primarily initially the food banks, because they weren't able to provide any hot meals. And then other charities started contacting us to find out if we could support people at home as well, people who weren't able to get out, people who were not necessarily medically shielding, but had mental health issues or other health-related concerns that meant that they weren't getting out, or that they didn't have the cooking facilities in their accommodation. So sometimes we'd contact people who'd been referred to us, and they were just so grateful. It's like, this is the first hot meal I've had in 3 months. And just hearing story after story, I'm like, because you're giving me because you're providing these hot meals, I can afford to put electricity on the meter. There's just story after story of the impact that that's been having. And we're working out how to keep moving it forward, but by the end of September, with what we're just carrying on doing till then, we know we would have produced over 9,500 hot meals from a standing start at the end of March, which is just stunning. And Richard, our catering manager, has just been amazing in that. But there's a whole team of people around as well. So that's been fantastic. That's taken a lot of funding, but we've had great support from local community foundation, local council. Martin Lewis Coronavirus Fund actually helped as well. So there's been a lot of funding that's gone into it, but it's actually been able to turn into something that's made a massive difference. We also had a really great craft group that was running here. Attracting a lot of people with mental health issues or learning disabilities, often coming along with carers, some people with communication issues. And they were really coming out of their shell, and there's some great stories, and that obviously had to stop because most of those immediately went into shielding, and we don't know quite when that's going to come back or how that's going to come back. Our coffee morning, don't know how that's going to come back. We host the night shelter one evening a week. We're looking at what's happening with homeless people in our area, because obviously the council is trying really hard actually to try and keep people off the streets. But some people still will be, and how are we going to move forward with that? But that's working with the Living Room, who are a charity based here that we work with. So we're also going to be restarting hopefully our volunteering and work experience in the kitchen and the coffee shop. So working a lot with people with low confidence, that's sort of probably the main common denominator, and supporting people to improve their life skills, employment opportunities in here. But also we have the kitchen garden that we started, and that really does help people who maybe they want to get out, they want to do something, but being in a public facing environment or in the kitchen is not really their thing. And so being able to do some practical things outside in the garden, working with a few other people, just getting out in the fresh air, and come rain or shine, people are watering and weeding and planting up and painting and making things. So yeah, it's been really, really good. And I'm sure there's lots of other projects that I've forgotten to mention, but that's sort of a flavour. And we really just want to be a blessing in our local community. We can't meet all the needs. We're never going to be able to meet all the needs. So we need to try and work out which ones are ours, what we can do, and how we can encourage and support other local churches. If we've got volunteers that would love to get involved in something and another church is doing it, then we'll encourage them to get involved in supporting that church. I'm really optimistic actually, because I really feel that God's doing something different. That the opportunities we've had, certainly with the Smile families, to build deeper relationships on a one-to-one has been something I wasn't expecting. So if we'd have completely withdrawn and just stopped everything, I think, yes, I'd be feeling disappointed and like, where are we going? What are we doing? How does this work? But we're taking steps forward in a number of these areas, and we'll be looking at the other activities that we're doing and thinking, how can we reimagine that into something that does work in the new normal for the way people feel comfortable to engage, and our volunteers feel comfortable to engage with as well. So I think it does take some thinking outside of the box and just trying to work out, well, how could it work, and trusting God that He knows what's going on, and it'll be different, but I think it can be really good. And we're looking at, it's the small groups that we're going to be working with, so the 2s and 3s, which can have actually much more of an impact on people, because you're really getting to know people better than just on more surface level with lots of people. So probably spending more time with less people, and just seeing what that impact is. I think that it's exciting. It's a bit daunting because we're just constantly in the change mode, and transitioning to the next thing, and constantly trying to be thinking and praying, well, what is that next thing? What does it look like? Looking at, okay, we've got people who have been in poverty and living with disadvantage for a long time, actually have got a lot of resilience. They know the system, they understand what it's about, but then we've got a whole new set of people who don't know how to navigate living on very low income, and not having what they're used to having. So we've sort of got the new poor along with the old poor, and those folk are going to need a lot of support. And I think actually it's enabling the people who understand the system, know how it all works, to actually be supporting and helping those people who are new into the system, and just working out how to make that work. But we've got some exceptionally resilient people in our communities, who keep going regardless, and they've got some things to teach us and others. So it's a case of just looking at how to put it all together a bit differently, but still keep wanting to be a blessing in the community and keep bringing hope to people's lives. I think trying to lift people's eyes to see it's not all about just, can I get through today? Yes, we need to get through today, but actually there is hope for tomorrow.